Yo, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. For any of you guys that are new here, my name is Levi. It's a rainy morning here in the PNW. It's actually a good thing. Our mountains do not have snow, and they need snow because I need to go snowboarding, and everyone else here that does go snowboarding needs to go snowboarding too. First world problems, am I right? So that all good and whatnot, but aside from all that, this morning we got some arms. I haven't really been able to work out this whole week. I can't remember what video it was that I made recently, but I told you guys, like, I've been dealing kind of like this neck thing. A lot of you guys that lift and whatnot have probably dealt with it before, at least once. If you haven't, good for you. It's essentially like you go to put the weight down, or like you push a weight above your head. It's like a pinched nerve all the way down my neck, all the way through the trap. It usually starts from the trap and then works its way up to my neck. And so that's just kind of what I'm dealing with. It's gotten a lot better, but every morning that I wake up, it's usually pretty bad. I think it's just from like the way that I sleep. I sleep on my stomach, and that can be known for causing some neck pain. But we're gonna go there, try our best to hit some arms today, and hopefully Rory's there as well. Okay, so for today I changed my mind. We're not gonna really do arms. Arms are actually like a strength of mine, and so I just don't really see the point in doing that. For me personally, that's a personal choice. If you guys have like a strength and maybe you had to like miss a certain workout for the week, work on the thing that is your weakness rather than your strength, because it's easier to hold on to your strength than it is to hold on to your weakness. That's just my outlook on everything. So we're gonna do a little bit of chest day. Not chest isn't necessarily my weakness, it's just a weaker point than my arms, and I hadn't trained it this week because that neck thing I had going on. So we're gonna be doing some chest, and we'll also be doing a little bit of back. Question I'll oftentimes get, and it was a question that kind of made me think about my own training as of recently, and one thing that I was kind of struggling with over like the past, honestly, it was probably like the past 8-9 months, and I realized it 2 months ago, so it's been a couple months since I fixed everything. It made me somehow think of it when I was doing my reps today, just because I think I was just so conscientious of the reps. But anyway, so when you're trying to go up in weight with your lifts, you need to be able to hit a certain number of reps with a certain amount of weight for X amount of sets. And so what I mean by that is, like, you need to be able to hit 4 sets of 10 reps for that weight before you think about moving up, or whatever that number of reps is that you do for this set. It can be 10, it can be 12. I think 10's like a good marker before you consider like going up in weight. But for me, for a long time, what was happening is I was, for example, putting like 210 pounds on an incline bench. For my first set, I'd get like 14 out of it. Then the next set was like 7. Then the next set was like 5, 6. And I was like, lifts aren't getting good, and I'm not increasing the reps as the sets go on. So something's happening. And I realized, like, oh, I need to be able to hit this weight for 10 reps for every single set that I do
for this lift. So if you guys are like, oh, I need to like increase my weight, focus on hitting a certain rep scheme with a certain amount of sets first before you actually increase that weight. It's helped me a lot, and it'll help with maturity of your muscles and actually help muscle growth and your overall strength going forward. Like I had to fix, and it can kind of creep up on you, I think, especially if you let your ego get in the way too much, because I've had to take some time off from lifting a little bit with the marathon training, or not time away, but my lift just decreased. Coming back, I was weaker, and I just didn't want myself to be weaker, but I wasn't willing to accept that reality, and so it stunted me a little bit, or not stunted, it just prevented me from gradually increasing again. Things that we're going to be doing today, aside from working out, is something I was talking about in a recent post of mine on Instagram. So follow me on the IG, go follow me there. And it was like I haven't been able to get out and go do something in a long time, like outside stuff. You know, like I usually go fishing and stuff, and I guess like I wasn't necessarily complaining about it. It's just like one of those times where it's like I can finally kind of escape to go do something else for a little while, other than just like working out, work, school, whatever it might be. And so it's just nice to kind of ground yourself in those moments in time. It's really good, actually. And so I'm really happy to be going and doing that today. It should be sick.
For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record. So nice for y'all. Now I got to up price for y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hay. I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball days. I'm flipping the balls. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it. On record, off record. I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talking collar for the quote. Yeah, buddy. I still want the act, not the go.
Go. No! Live to you from Schweisty Mountain. We're shredding the gnar, but definitely not getting hit by a car. And that's it, folks. That's what I have for you.
Only wrapped in nets, baby.
Oh yeah, me.
Nothing like coffee at 3:45. You guys know me. Try not to drink coffee after 12, but after yesterday, man, I'm exhausted. And I also want to apologize so I didn't record too much. I just didn't feel like vlogging that much. No, it wasn't that I necessarily didn't feel like vlogging. There was just so much going on. Like I was trying to create a promo for the ski resort. I was trying to focus on snowboarding. I was also trying to, videotape for this video. And so I was just kind of getting caught up everywhere. And so I realized at the end of it, I'm like, dang, I didn't really record much. Plus, at the end of the day, when we were driving home back from the mountain, like videotaping was the last thing on my mind, if I'm being completely honest with you. So here we are today. But more importantly, in today's video, I wanted to talk to you guys about my goals for 2024. In a recent Q&A, I got a question about my goals for 2024, and I didn't outline them specifically. I do have them written down on my phone. I wrote them down probably back in, what was it? It was like maybe October I wrote them down, maybe even September. And so I wanted to go over them with you guys. And the reason I felt like it was so important, it was such a good video to make, was simply because I think a lot of you guys, if you go into this video with an open mind, or you're watching this video with an open mind, you're gonna learn a lot about setting goals and how to actually properly set goals. Too many times I think we set goals that are out of our control, and not necessarily a horrible thing, but it can be a really unhealthy thing if you continue to do it over and over again. And so I want to help you guys in how to properly adjust your goals and how to properly set goals that are actually attainable. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. All right, so before we get into what my goals and everything are for the new year coming up, 2024, I wanted to talk to you guys about how to actually properly set goals and the difference between goals and hoped for outcomes. The reason that this is super important to talk about, I feel like, before sharing my goals with you is because my goals might not seem like quote unquote goals, even though they are what goals are supposed to be. And that might not make sense right now, but that's exactly why we're talking about what I just said before I tell you guys what my current goals are. So this is how you set goals. You set goals that you can actually track, measure, and see if you're keeping up with. And I can't remember the acronym, or I can't remember the words for each letter in this word, but it's called SMART goals. And it has something to do along the lines of like, they need to be measurable. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. So let's just say that you're trying to lose weight, right? And you're hoping for an outcome of, you know, losing 20 to 30 pounds. Well, the actual goal itself is going to be the thing that you do every single day in order to hopefully get to that outcome. In other words, the goal would be like, oh, I'm getting 10,000 steps in a day. I am, you know, not cheating on my meal plan every single day. Like, that is the actual goal, because it's something that you can measure. It's something that you can say, hey, I'm controlling all of the controlled, and I'm doing everything that I possibly can. In other words, goals need to be something that you can control, because if your goals are something that you can't control, you are at the wits of whatever it might be. And I think a lot of the times when we set goals that are outside of our control, what can happen is it can really deteriorate our confidence. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning of this video with, like, I started to struggle mentally because a lot of my goals were things that were outside of my control, and I started losing a lot of confidence within myself because I couldn't reach these goals. But I realized just because I can't reach something that's out of my control doesn't mean that there's a problem with me. It means that I'm just not setting goals properly. That kind of like leads into the next thing, because if my goals were out of my control, then what exactly was I setting for myself? And what I was setting for myself was outcomes that I was labeling as goals. This is gonna kind of bring me into the difference of hope for outcomes and actual goals. And a lot of the times what we do is we label hoped for outcomes as goals. And I would say that's what we do actually the majority of the time. I can't tell you guys how many times I go on social media and people will be like,
goals for 2023.
And they'll list them out, and they're things that are completely out of their control. And again, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you do reach those things, you gain a lot of confidence. But at the end of the day, we have to be real with ourselves and understand that most of those goals that we're setting are out of our control. And I'm gonna listen to an example for you, because you guys might be like, okay, well, what do you mean like this hope for outcome isn't a goal? So let's just say, we're gonna use weight loss again for an example. Let's just say in the next 3 months, I hope to lose 50 pounds, right? And my daily goals are, I need to walk 10,000 steps every day, I need to follow my meal plan accordingly, and I need to go to the gym for an hour and 30 minutes. And let's just say I just don't make any adjustments to that for the whole 3 months. I'm gonna follow that in order to hopefully hit, you know, the 50 pounds loss that I'm looking for. Well, let's just say that 3 months goes by and I only lose 30 pounds, but I did every single thing that I was supposed to and everything that I could in my ability and still didn't reach that. As you can see, that desired outcome that we were going for was completely out of our control. And what can happen is a lot of the times when people don't hit these desired outcomes, they lose confidence in themselves. But as you can see, why would you lose confidence in yourself if that thing was completely out of your control? You did everything else you were supposed to, but that thing that you were trying to aim for just simply was out of your control. Your body just wasn't losing the weight fast enough. And there's a lot of other factors that you probably don't know about. I know me and my experience, I've set these desired outcomes for myself and I fall short and I beat myself up over it, although it's completely out of my control. Here's how to elicit like how important this is to your mental health. So let's just say I have this desired outcome that I've labeled as a goal and I don't meet it. Well, what happens is your dopamine baseline drops. In other words, like your motivation to get that thing drops because you were expecting to hit that. And since you didn't, your motivation to go after it again drops because you didn't. So in other words, like it just decreases the amount of confidence that you have that you're going to reach that thing. And that's why it's a really bad thing to do that. And so that's why a lot of the goals that you guys are gonna hear me list out are structured in a very different way than you would typically hear on social media or in your own life. With that said, I'm gonna share with you guys my goals for 2024 now. I wrote these down back in September on the 16th, and I've been following them ever since, and I don't plan to really change anything in 2024. If I do, I'll write it down right here. But as far as that goes, here are my actual goals for 2024. So I'm going to read 2 pages of the Bible every single week, deep prayer every Sunday, post 2 times a week on YouTube, post 6 times a week on Instagram. Really quick, I think I meant read 2 pages of the Bible every day because that's what I've been doing. post 5 times a week on the KillBuillt for Instagram, post 12 times a week on TikTok, work out 5 times a week, stop overthinking every day, do not fap any day, sit at my computer every day without easily getting distracted, run 1 ad a week, 1 giveaway a month, go live with audience 3 times a week, and do not go out every week. So those are my goals. Those are things that I can actually control and look back on and be like, oh, like I've been doing good. That is in my control. I've been doing that, and I can praise myself for following those things. As where, you know, if my goals were my outcomes, which are completely out of my control, I would be looking back at that and reflecting and going,
dang, I didn't hit any of those and that freaking sucks.
So that's why it's super important to, again, have things that are attainable in your own control. But I do want to share with you guys with like what my outcomes are from following those goals that I have set for myself in 2024. So here they go. I want to know the Bible better than I did a year ago. 3,000 subs on YouTube. I want to have 10,000 followers on Instagram, 40,000 followers on TikTok, 1,500 followers on the KillBuillt Instagram. I want to be in a better place than I was the year before. I want $3,000 in sales in 1 month from KillBuillt, and I want to have $15,000 saved up by the end of 2024. And those are all the desired outcomes I have by following the goals that I had set for myself. In my eyes, that's the only way to do it. And I don't want you guys to think that you can't set big, desirable outcomes for yourself. You can. You can hope for good things. That's not what I'm not trying to say in this video that you can't hope for big things. What I'm trying to say is that you can't say, oh,
my goal is to be like a millionaire by the end of 2024.
Because that might not just happen. Like the timing might not be right, but you can do certain things every single day and hopefully order to get that outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like there is just certain things in this life that are out of our control. And I think for most of my life, I got away with setting desirable outcomes for goals of mine, and I don't think I fell short of many of them. And I think that just fueled my confidence in a wrong way until like I fell flat one day and realized that this isn't working for me anymore, because I'm at a point now in my life where these desired outcomes are not being met. So I need to find a way to actually make goals for myself that can help me to gain like actual real confidence within myself. Those are my goals for 2024. I would love to hear your guys' down below in the comment section. If you guys have any more questions about it, definitely ask me. Goals can be kind of hard to set, and I have this book right here that might help you guys out in setting your goals, and it's going to be this book, Atomic Habits. This will help you so much with, you know, obtaining or achieving your goals and hopefully desired outcomes. The reason being is simply because it helps to kind of eliminate certain things from getting in the way of it. Like one of the things that I follow in that book is I try to like keep my phone out of my workspace. So like when I said one of my goals every day is to not be distracted at my computer, it tries to tell you in the book like set up your environment to make that goal more achievable, because the easier your environment is set up, the easier it is to achieve that goal. Just a little something that's mentioned in the book. But that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, be sure to give it a like. If any of you guys are new here, do not forget to press that subscribe button, because you guys know I will be back. And as always, die trying to do love. The sky's the limit. I'll see you guys in the next one.